Welcome to online lecture series of Energy Audit and Management. Here is Professor Lakshman Mani. This is lecture on Energy Audit Part 2. I acknowledge my sincere thanks to the following authors and internet resource for being used the concepts to make this video session. In this session, you will be able to explain instruments used in energy audit, analysis and recommendations of energy audit reporting, and Current Energy Conservation Act 2001. Let us see energy audit instruments. Energy audit instruments are the devices which are used to measure different parameters in the industry to study the performance. So these instruments should be portable, means small in size, durable, means life should be good, easy to operate, inexpensive, means economical, to have low price. In energy audit, generally following parameters are used for the measurement. So these are basic electrical parameters and basic thermal parameters. Basic electrical parameters are voltage, current, power factor, active power, apparent power, reactive power, energy consumption and frequency. Let us see about power factor. So to understand power factor, we will see the diagram. This is a triangle. Its sides represents this base represent true power. It is called as active power. This hypotenuse, which represents apparent power, and third side represent reactive power. So angle between P and S, that is phase angle. So power factor is cos theta, that is nothing but ratio of true power to the apparent power. So true power is calculated by using formula V, that is voltage, into current I into cos of theta, while apparent power is calculated by using formula, it is a product of voltage and current, and reactive power is calculated by using formula, that is V into I into sin theta. So true power, active power, the power which we get, and apparent power, that is a power which is developed. So power factor is a ratio of, as per the definition, kW to kVA. So suppose if we have true power 100 watt and apparent power 125 watt, then power factor is of that system 0.8. Basic thermal parameters are temperature, heat flow, radiation, then flow of air, gas and liquid, air velocity. In case of boiler, the water which is used, its treatment is required. So in that TDS, that is total dissolved solids, this measurement parameter is important. Then pH value of water, means how much water is acidic in nature or basic in nature. Then moisture content in air, relative humidity, that is percent moisture content in air. Then in case of boiler, the burning gases which are releasing to the atmosphere, it contains CO2, O2, carbon monoxide, SOx and NOx. So its measurement is called as flue gas analysis. Combustion efficiency of boiler. Then in case of devices in which speed is measured, that is in RPM. Then noise and vibration of the machines. Dust concentration in case of filters is used. Now we will see in detail energy audit instruments. Here are the images. So electrical measurement instruments which are used for the measuring electrical parameters, such as, already we have discussed about it, kVA, kilovolt ampere, that is apparent power, kW, that is unit power, PF, power factor, hertz, that is frequency, this is kVAR, means reactive power, kVAR, ampere, current, and voltage in volts. So these instruments are applied on the line, for example on running motor without its stoppage working, they give instant measurements of these parameters. This is an instrument which is used to measure the concentration of oxygen, carbon monoxide, NOx, SOx. It is called as combustion analyzer. This is the instrument that is fuel efficiency monitor. It measures oxygen and temperature of the flue gas, and caloric values of different fuels are fed into the microprocessor, which calculate combustion efficiency. Fire rate. So it is a hand bellow pump device which draw flue gas sample into solution inside the fire rate. So chemical reaction changes in this take place and it reveal the amount of gas. It is used to measure O2 and CO2 content. Contact thermometer. So these are used to measure the temperature of flue gas, hot air, hot water by inserting probe into the stream. So wherever surface temperature measurement, their lip type probe is used. In case of non-contact type measurement, infrared thermometers are used, which are directed at a heat source and they gives temperature at the location. So these are used in case of furnaces and hot surfaces to measure the temperature. Pitot tube and manometer. This is also used in case of duct in air conditioning system to measure the air velocity. Water flow meter. It is non-contact type flow measuring device in which works on Doppler effect and ultrasonic principle. So there is a transmitter and receiver which are positioned on opposite side of the pipe. This meter gives reading of flow of water and other fluid which are flowing inside the pipe. In case of speed measurements, there are two types: contact type, non-contact type. Contact types are simple tachometers which are used to measure the speed, and stroboscope are the non-contact type. Then in case of compressed air system or steam distribution system and refrigeration system in which ammonia is used, in this case suppose leakage occurs, then it is very difficult to find or to detect the leakage. So in that case leak detectors are used to detect the leak. Okay, so lux meter is in case of light. Illumination level of the light is measured by the lux meter. So its unit is lux. So it is what intensity of light falling on the surface area. Now analysis and recommendations of energy audit and energy audit report. We will have here a sample of energy audit report. So it contains acknowledgement, executive summary, and there are 6 points. One by one we will see. First point about introduction of the plant. It includes plant details, energy audit team, component of production cost, that is raw materials, energy, chemicals, manpower, overhead, then major areas of energy use. Point 2 is production process description, which covers brief description of manufacturing process taking place in the industry, process flow diagram, and major unit operations, major raw material inputs, their quantity and cost. Third point is energy and utility system description, in which list of various utilities like electricity, steam, water, compressed air, chilled water, cooling water is included. Fourth point, that is detailed process flow diagram and energy material balance, in which flow charts showing the flow rate, temperature, pressure of all input and out streams is included. Water balance for the entire industry is included. Point number 5 covers energy efficiency in utility and process system. There are different utilities in which specific energy consumption, boiler efficiency assessment, thermic fluid heater performance assessment, in case of furnace its efficiency analysis, cooling water system performance assessment, then in the industry diesel generator set for that performance assessment, refrigeration system performance, in case of compressed air system its performance assessment. In the industry various electrical motors are used, so their load analysis. Then for the lighting system its performance assessment is included. Point number 6 is about energy conservation options and recommendations. So this is outcome of the energy audit, which consists list of options in terms of no cost, low cost, medium and high cost. It also includes annual energy and cost saving and payback period. Then implementation plan for energy saving measures. At the last, report includes annexure, which consists different worksheets as far as calculation is concerned of energy audit, then list of instrument and list of vendor and other technical details. Now in this report summary, for the summary of energy saving recommendations, this is the suggested format. So here are the different utilities we can mention over here and energy saving recommendations for the respective utility, their energy annual energy saving in kWh per metric ton, energy saving possible in rupees, capital investment required for it and payback period. Second table is based on the priority, on which priority energy saving potentials are, and according to that what kind of investment is to be done. So first is category A, no investment, means no investment is required, for example housekeeping. Then where the low investment is required for short to medium period, there equipment modification is required, process change is required and controls. About that data is mentioned. Then where the high investment is required for long term purpose, in that some energy efficient devices are required, so their annual electricity or fuel saving by using this, whatever we get, that is mentioned here. Product modification is required suppose, and if there is a change in technology, then its corresponding details are mentioned in these columns. Now we will have one reporting format of energy conservation recommendations. In that, one case of combined diesel generator set of cooling tower with main cooling tower is discussed. Let us see. Main cooling tower is operating with 30% of its capacity. Its flow capacity is 5000 meter cube per hour. So here the proposed system for this is what? A DG set cooling tower, cooling water DG set which has cooling tower, that is capacity of 240 meter cube per hour. So here we will see the calculation in tabulated form. So here is a part of energy saving calculation. In that, first of all, capacity as given, and its temperature, then temperature across cooling tower. Percentage loading is given, so that is calculated how? Product of these two, that is 3000 multiplied by 4 divided by product of these two, is 5000 into 8. So 30%, that is a loading comes. Then capacity of DG set is 240 meter cube per hour and its temperature is this. So heat load capacity is coming in kilocalorie per hour. So here is a 240 multiplied by 1000 is conversion from meter cube per kilocalorie, for that 1000 is used. Then power drawn by the DG set, it consists number of pumps 2 and 2 fans. So respect to their wattage, so total we get 22 into 2 plus 7.5 into 2 into power consumption load is 80%, that is 0.8. So that's why it comes 47 kilowatt. Now additional power required for main cooling tower for the water flow 240 meter cube per hour in liter per second, this, so it comes 7 kilowatt. So here net saving is what? 47 minus 7, that is 40 kilowatt. Now annually for the year, if we consider 8400 hours in 1 year, then 3,36,000 units per year energy saving potential is possible. So it will save the cost. 1 unit is of rupees 4, so in rupees 13.4 lakh per year energy saving in the cost is possible. But for that investment is required, that is what? Of 1.5 lakh. So payback period, simple payback period is calculated in the way that investment 1.5 lakh divided by saving, that is 13.5 lakh, so multiplied by 12, that is months, it comes 1.34 months, so it is less than 2 months. Then Energy Conservation Act, so it empowers the government to specify the norms. There are some norms and standards of energy efficiency which are to be followed by the different industries. So this act empowers the state governments to enforce its various provisions. So as we know, BEE, that is Bureau of Energy Efficiency, which is agency of Government of India, which comes under the Ministry of Power. So under the provision of nations, there is a 2001 Energy Conservation Act. So primary objective is of this act is what? To reduce energy consumption or intensity. So purpose of it is what? To develop policies and strategies which are required for the industry, and it is applicable to the region India. So in this session now you can explain instruments used in energy audit, you can explain analysis and recommendations of energy audit reporting, and you can explain current Energy Conservation Act 2001. So this was the outcome of today's session. If you like this video, please subscribe and share. Thank you.